Are you ready? Can Crushers. It don't really get no better than this the podcast that you're looking for if you're really heavy into wrestling. Hosted by the Mark. Energy that's so amazing. Gotta keep it entertaining. Rep the Can Crusher Nation. Yeah, you know what's going down in the ring. Lights out when you hit a ding ding. Knock 'em out like boom bada bing. Hold it down, you can crown me the king. Got a shout out to the Miz and Duke the Dumpster. We choke slamming everybody. Power driving, hit 'em with a face buster. Yeah, this the show you need and it ain't no need for waiting. Mark, hold it down for the Can Crusher Nation. All about wrestling and keep it entertaining. Can Crushers Wrestling Podcast. Time to break 'em, let's go. Yeah, Can Crushers. Yeah, Can Crushers. Let's go.
What's up, guys? This is Jared Fritz, official for the NWA, and you're getting Ref Fit with the Can Crushers Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Can Crushers Wrestling Podcast. If this is your first time, hello! If this is your second time, welcome back. And if you've been with us for the whole ride, man oh man, thanks a lot. It means a lot. It really does. Guys, it is a Spotlight edition. I'm super excited to find out why the Shadow Assassin, Lunik, wants to punch me in the face. I don't know. That is just my feelings. Like, we're cordial backstage. He's awesome over social media. I just feel he wants to punch me in the face. I've been told I have a punchable face. I get that. That's actually by, good friends and everybody. Not even enemies that say that. Good friends tell me this. I just don't know. We'll also find out, why he got into professional wrestling, what makes him tick, and all the cool things. Get, into his nerd stuff a little bit. But I really want to know why he hates me. What I did wrong to him. What is going on? So, this will be interesting. But of course we have to we have to pay the bills. So let me tell you about some stuff, which is really cool. Guys, WrestleMania right around the corner. I believe if you order now, don't quote me on that, you'll get your stuff by WrestleMania time. So if you're waiting to get that Rock shirt or the new Roman shirt or Cody shirt or anything, we have a WWE affiliate code. Okay? It's really cool. It's in our show notes. Go ahead and click on that. And we're very transparent. There's times you will get a discount on it. There's times you will just support us. So it's up to you. If you know you're going to buy something from WWE, please use our affiliate code. It would mean the world to us, and it'd be awesome. Oh, Al Snow. Coming out with some new shirts. I've just been told this. Coming out with some new shirts at Collar and Elbow Wrestling, the wrestling brand. So check out Collar and Elbow. Hats, hoodies, tees, all the cool things that Al Snow and the Hooligans have down there. Buy it all up. You've heard me tell you that I love my Macho Man-inspired Head and Al Snow shirt. Enough. I actually have my Dusty Rhodes shirt on anyway today. The Dusty Rhodes-inspired one. But there's other ones out there too. Buy them up. The shirt quality is awesome. Our promo code for that, Can Crushers. Capital C and Can, capital C and Crushers. You'll save 10% as well. I live off of Dubby. I really do. In the mornings I wake up, 2 scoops, throw some water in it, drink it all up, and I am good to go for the day. I love it. No calories. No carbonation. Nothing. It is amazing taste with everything you need. And I have Callow Cream right now is what I'm drinking. I do have a couple more scoops of Beach and Peach, but Callow Cream, mango and orange cream, it's unbelievable. So head over to Dubby, check it out. It will be your energy drink the rest of your life. You'll not drink out of cans anymore. You won't need that carbonation. Dubby is the way that it'll be to go. Can Crushers again. All one word. Can Crushers. You'll save 10%. Oh, we need questions, guys. We need questions. Some are rolling in, but just to let you know, Ask Can Crushers is coming up. Join our social medias. This is a way that you can send your questions for Ask Can Crushers. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. DM us a question, or join the conversations that are going on there. Join. CanCrusher69@gmail.com. That's another way you can either say, hey, man, I would love to be part of a spotlight. Cool. We'll get you scheduled and set up. Or send your Ask Can Crusher question in. We need those sent in by March 29th. This way we'll answer them on air for you. Whole episode dedicated to the fans answering Ask Can Crusher questions. I'm stuttering a lot. It's the way it is. I've had 2 beers already since we're recording. We're ready to go. All right, guys. Get set as we are going to get Lunik on the line and, find out why he wants to punch me in the face.
Hey, everyone. It's Journey Burke, the Law of Attraction, and you're listening to the Can Crushers podcast.
Welcome back to Can Crushers, guys. You heard how excited I am, but I know we have a bit of a past with my guest this week. We really do. And I'll get to the story when we get there. I teased a little bit in the intro, but I call him a friend, but I don't know sometimes because he does look like he wants to punch me in the face every once in a while. It's a shadow assassin, Lunik. Lunik, how you doing tonight?
Hey, man. Good. How you doing?
Good. I bet you I just blew your mind. You're like, oh, no, what did I do to this guy, right?
No, I think it's just my face. I think that I give off that aura that I just might punch anyone at any given time, but I've never thought about punching you. We're definitely friends. You're a great guy.
Well, I'll tell you the story then right off the bat. I was going to save this because we'll get to like a most embarrassing moment or something like that. I had returned back to doing announcing, High Ground Professional Wrestling. We both ran into each other there, yada, yada, yada. You were first match out. You were first person out. And I'm announcing, I say, the Shadow Assassin, and then you kind of look right at me, because I wasn't ready for Lunik yet then, but then you look right at me and you go, Lunik. And my fucking head blew up. I'm like, what is he telling me his name for? Wait, what? Why is he telling me his name? I know it's written on a card. What did I do wrong?
No, I remember that. It wasn't you. that was just me, like being lost, like, caught up in the moment, just waiting for, like, in my mind, I'm like, all right, this is what he's gonna say next. I don't know. It had nothing to do with.
I'm like, why is he yelling at me?
No, it's nothing like that. It was just when I get out there, I'm just so caught up in, like, like being focused, and I'm like, all right, this is what's going to be said next. And I wasn't even thinking about it, honestly. I was just like on, when you just kind of go in that zone and you're
Trust
like,
me.
all right, this is what's going to happen. And then this is next. It was literally just something like that. Like, I knew I was just going to hear that next. So I was just kind of waiting for it,
I get it. I just wanted to throw you under the bus a little bit. That breaks the nerves of this podcast, doesn't it?
Oh, hell yeah. Nah, you're all good, man. I completely even forgot about that. Like, I was not expecting you to bring that up. That's awesome.
That was all going through my head. I mean, it was probably milliseconds, wasn't it? It was really milliseconds.
Yeah.
I'm like, this guy fucking hates me already. This is the first time I'm back in wrestling in a couple of years, and he's telling me how to say his name. He's told me 6 times
man.
backstage. Yeah. I thought,
Nothing
man.
like that, I promise. Sorry to stress you out, though. Like,
Anxiety.
Yeah, I feel it, bro. I definitely feel that there.
So how are you? What's going on? Well, before we get into wrestling, do some hellos because we are buddies. How's everything going for real?
It's going, man. It's all good, Just gotta stay with that grind, really, like balancing everything out from like classwork to work, and then wrestling is like you got a lot of moving parts there, trying to juggle them all, but you just got to keep your head down. I know I keep working hard now. Eventually, in the future, all this stuff's gonna pay off. So, we're good. We're living. I'm always thankful to be alive. Multiple possibilities as long as you stay living. You know what I mean? You got to make the best out of it. How about you, man? How you doing?
Doing well, doing well. I love that you said multiple opportunities as long as you stay alive. That's awesome. That's a great word, and we're only a couple minutes into the podcast. You win.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
There you go.
Doing well. Excited for something that you're going to be part of. We're going to jump all over the place now, but that's okay. Something that you're going to be part of on April 20th. New Era Pro Wrestling is opening its doors. You were announced in a tag match, and you'll be taking on the Diamond City War Machines. How excited are you about, first and foremost, New Era?
Honestly, having more companies around is always a good thing. However, New Era is run by some close friends of mine, Shelby and Nathaniel Cunningham, and man, those guys are incredibly, just as people, they are awesome. As workers, they are so fun, easy to work with, easy to talk to, easy to get along with. And when you have people like that at the top, people that are so super approachable, super open to like everything, and just genuinely good, nice people. It builds your company up for success just out the gate like that. And then the talent that they have announced for, this their first show, and their roster, it's stacked, like, to say the least. The card is stacked. The talent is there. And I'm really excited to be working with like anyone from that roster. Really, like, I think that it's nothing but good things in their future, and I'm super stoked and honestly just thankful to be along for the ride and just be part of that journey.
You speak well of Nathaniel right now, but as the Badfellas, him and Donnie, you've had some paths with those two, haven't you?
Yeah, see, so, out of the ring, amazing people. But, see, now when we get in the ring, however, that's where things kind of change a little bit. See, those guys they're very manipulative, cunning. They think quick. They're very quick thinkers. So, you take your eye off the ball for 1 second, and then they'll capitalize. Like, you'll be in the ring with one of them, and then the other guy just out of nowhere, he's there just to throw you off, even for like a second. And then the guy you're already in the ring with will just take advantage of that. So as a team, they're very dangerous, very lethal, and very conniving. You got to definitely watch out for them. I think I might see them again pretty soon. And if I get in the ring with them, I think I owe him for a black eye that he gave me in our last tag team match. So definitely looking forward to that one.
Yeah, they're dastardly and they're my best friends. Not saying that I'm going to be a corrupt commissioner or anything like that, because I'll do what's best for business in New Era.
Okay. Best for business, huh? So it doesn't matter what it is, as long as it's best for business.
Well, we'll see. But let's get into the spotlight and why we're here for you and everything. So let's rewind to when you were like a little shadow, essentially, a little assassin. How did you find professional wrestling? Mom, Dad, Uncle Joe, Aunt Sally, how did you find this crazy sport?
Like, everyone in my family watches it, so I feel like I was just born with like wrestling playing on the monitor or something. I don't know. Like, as long as I can think back, it's been something that's been with me. Like, I can't think back far enough to where I didn't have wrestling. Like, my earliest memories, they always all include wrestling. So it would probably have to be from my mom and dad, probably. Like, my whole family. Like, I'm the oldest. I only have like a younger sibling, so it wasn't like siblings or anything, but I don't know. It's just been something that's been a part of us. We're not like a wrestling family in the traditional sense where, like the Rhodes and McMahons, like, having success in the business. But we are very much a wrestling family when it comes to the fan base part of it and just being fans lifelong. And I think it spans generations. I think my mom's parents watched it too. So I'm not really sure how far back it goes, but it goes back pretty far.
Can you remember, and it doesn't have to be specific or anything, but can you remember kind of era or like first match or anything like that as a little guy you were watching?
Yeah, So I can't say this was my first match exactly because I was familiar with it, but like I can't remember a match before this. It was I don't even know if it was like pay-per-view or like Raw or SmackDown. I just remember it being on the TV and just being fascinated by it. It was Shawn Michaels versus Triple H. And I cannot tell you if that was like a pay-per-view or like what it was. It was just on my TV and I was just like, holy cow, this is like crazy. I remember Sean like going up top, and I was just like losing my mind, like that hitting that super kick. I'm pretty sure Sean may have won. That was like the first match that I can remember watching, but it was like that era of like early 2000s, and that because I was born in '98.
Right.
So like as a baby, just early 2000s era with the brand split like kind of first happening, that ruthless aggression just kicking off. So that was like the era that I grew up with.
In that match could have happened 75 times. It could have been a Raw. It could have been a SmackDown.
Yeah.
It sure as hell was a pay-per-view match. So you could have watched all of them, and they just all go together at some point in your time, right?
Absolutely, yeah, for sure.
So who are some of your favorites growing up? Was Shawn somebody that you instantly drew love for, or was it Triple H?
I liked both of them. Don't get me wrong. I think I leaned towards Trips a bit more back then. My number one favorite. It's always like a little slippery slope. It was see, I can't do anything about it. You know, past is the past. But like as a child, my favorite was Chris Benoit, and you know, I just loved his the realism that he brought to it, his aggression, you know, his attitude. It was like it made it just so intense. And like at that, you know, I didn't know that it's choreographed or anything like that. Like it was all 100% real to me. And like there was no one realer than, of course, the Dead Man, the Undertaker, and Chris Benoit. Like he was just like everything he did, I was just infatuated by. Like all his matches, his moveset. You know, it was something about him that everything I gravitated. I mean, towards him. Like from the 3 German suplexes to the crippler crossface. To the sharpshooter, they were just like his whole arsenal was just so fascinating to me, and like a little bit different than, you know, like you had the powerhouses where it was almost mainly powerhouses that were over at that point, like, you know, with Trips and Tager and Kane, Big Show. So it was like a different style. I mean, yeah, you still had like, you know, Kurt Angle, Eddie, and like it was just such a golden era of wrestling, so much talent like everywhere. And I felt like Benoit wasn't getting like as much love from like, you know, the announcers and the fans and stuff, like as guys like, you know, that would come out later, like The Rock and like Chris Jericho. So immediately, I don't know what it was, but something pulled me towards him. And then, of course, you know, worst thing possible. That happened. So it took me a while to find another favorite. I went with the safe route, you know, John Cena.
You went really safe. You went from
Super
Devil's
safe.
best friend to, yeah.
Yeah, it's a company boy. Yeah, like Cena was Super Cena. You know what I mean? My brain couldn't even handle like what happened with the, like wrestling being like, you know, pretty much my life, and then losing my favorite character in it. And then the real life aspect of, you know, just what happened was like all just really shocking. So yeah, that made me go super safe with John Cena. And then eventually, as I got older, I became more of an edgehead who, again, unfortunately had to retire. And I was like, wow, like finally pick another favorite. And then, you know,
yeah, but he's doing great things in
to,
AEW right now.
Yeah. His return is one of my favorite moments ever. Like, after 11 years coming back, hearing Edge's music at that Royal Rumble, holy cow, bro, goosebumps. That was insane. That moment's easily one of my top wrestling moments ever.
I'm glad that you were open enough to say, because there's people on the podcast for 8 years, they dabble around saying Benoit, but they'll never say it. I want to give you my thoughts. What he did for us as a performer and everything, unbelievable. I don't know him like I know you. I think you're a wonderful human being. I shouldn't say that on a podcast when they're trying to get you over as a bastard every once in a while, but we'll get there.
Appreciate it, yeah.
But, you know, I didn't know him. So as a performer and what he did, he was lights out. Listen, after and during his career, all that stuff, I can separate it. I know bad human being. But will he ever be in the Hall of Fame? I don't think he should because of that. But I still think it's okay that he gets his flowers every once in a while, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Without making you say anything, yes. I'll say it because I don't care if there's heat on me.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I don't like. I was just a kid, you know. Like,
Right.
it just that's going to be a part of me forever. I can't get rid of those memories. You know, I can't get rid of little me, like, you know, getting all excited for a Chris Benoit match. I never met him in person, so obviously I can't speak for that, like, other type of stuff. I can only speak on, like, you know, what I saw on TV. And that's all I will comment on for that, you know?
Yeah. So growing up, what did you do, like, sports-wise? And because I always throw this because I'm also a nerd like this, a theater nerd. Did you do any of that to get ready for wrestling? Like, when you first saw it, you, mom, and dad were watching the wrestling, you're like, this is what I'm going to be. I'm going to be a wrestler. So as you grow up, you kind of lose that, I'm going to be a fireman, I'm going to be an architect, I'm going to be whatever. But your mind is still being trained that you're going to get into professional wrestling. So baseball, football, drama, any of that. Did you do any of that to still get you ready for wrestling?
Oddly enough, I started so my parents didn't really have that much experience with, like, extracurricular stuff. I kind of had to figure that out for myself. So I never got into anything like in elementary. But by the time I was in middle school, I did start. It wasn't because of wrestling per se. I just kind of, like, really always loved sports. So in middle school, I started baseball, basketball, football, and I would just play for our school, you know, modified teams for that stuff. And then we had to move around a lot for high school, so it kind of, like, ruined 2 of my years for that. But then, you know, once we got settled down, I got back into the gist of things: baseball, football, basketball. I did a little bit of track. And then, so for what it was, I found love with baseball initially. And, like, so I would always, like, for the rec teams, I would be, like, team captain. And, like, you know, the paid teams, I would always be, like, you know, clean up, like, or third or fourth hitter. Like, so I was always pretty good at that. And I picked up on it pretty fast. I didn't have, like, the building blocks from, like, a super young age, but I did pick up on it. I did hit the gym pretty often, and, you know, I got pretty decent at it. But then I would just, like I would get cut from the school teams, and then, you know, the kids there would be like, yo, bro, we thought you were trying out for, like, varsity. And I'd be like, nah, it was just JV. They were like, they cut you from JV, like, that's crazy. I'd be like, it is what it is, I guess. And then, like, it was just weird to me how I would always be, like, at some sort of, like, team captain or, like, cleanup hitter or something, like, super, you know, like, a decent spot on, like, all these rec leagues. But, like, for some reason, I just couldn't make the school teams for that. And then I had kids that, like, were telling me, they're like, bro, you're, like, really good. Like, you're, like, better than some of, like, you know, the kids that did make, like, what's going on here? And for the life of me, I couldn't figure it out. And then eventually they were like, you know, like, you're too good to cut. But, like, our varsity team is kind of full. But, you know, you can play for our JV team. At that point, I was like, yo, it's kind of like BS. Like, if I'm too good to get cut, how is your team full? And then eventually I realized, like, baseball around where I was growing up was very political. I don't mean to, like, throw them under the bus, but, like, I've had that chip on my shoulder since then, because it's like my little brother too, he was really good, and then they just wouldn't take us because they had the kids that they had, you know, their kids from middle school coming up, and we were just, like, moving in here. So, you know, they had those spots taken from or saved for those kids that, you know, they wanted to have those spots. And I didn't really understand shit like that. I just kept my head down, kept playing baseball, you know. Eventually I did get discouraged a little bit from that. But initially, that's what I thought I was going to do. I thought I was just going to be, like, a baseball player, or at least, like, you know, play in college or something. And then, you know, just took time off of it, stopped that. And that's around the time I was like, you know, why don't I just do something I love even more than that, something that has always been around? Because I was always like, well, what am I going to do? And all of these jobs kind of, like, nothing really, like, appealed to me. So it wasn't, like, later on that I realized, let me not be dumb. Let me just try wrestling. Like, let me try something that like I've always loved. Let me just try that. So I did that like around 17, 18 was when I was like, maybe I should try this, and I did theater for for college. I did that for like a year or two. Not to get a theater degree, but to get that experience performing. Like I knew with a theater degree, my options were kind of limited. I'm not really the right demographic to like, become a movie star or whatever at that point, but I was like, I can use this experience. I can use this knowledge to help me out in wrestling. And so I was like scrambling at that point, like hitting the gym like crazy. And I would still do sports, but it was more now like with friends or like little outside leagues. I wasn't trying to go anywhere with them anymore, but it was about wrestling. Now, everything that I did from that point to now, it was from 18 to 25. So like the past 7 years, I've taken into account how is this going to help me out in wrestling, my cardio, my strength, my acting abilities, my reaction time, like all of this stuff. How can I use whatever I'm doing to help me out in wrestling? And sorry for rambling on for so long. Yeah.
No, you gave me the answers to like the next two questions, which I love because it's like you almost listened to the podcast. And
Hey,
that's not a slap in the face because you answered exactly right. Because I said, how did baseball and this, that, and everything lead up to you getting into wrestling? Baseball, which I'm a strong component to. I love the sport and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
But it gave you that chip on your shoulder to push you to wrestling. And then I knew, and we never had this conversation, but I knew that you had some drama experience because your facials are amazing. Like there's people that it takes years to get facials in wrestling, by the way, before anybody spins that the wrong way. Jesus, that went the wrong way. But you get it now, don't you? Yeah. You got him.
I wasn't even thinking of it.
Yeah, well, you know, that's where my 47-year-old mind is. But that's you got him. So I had an idea, but that's awesome. So we're talk about then training and everything because it's two different aspects from baseball to football to all of this to going into the wrestling business.
So training, wow. Honestly, what helped me get ready for training the most was probably football practice because that is very intense for anyone that's ever played like football, even at a varsity level. And if your school takes it seriously, it can be very, very rigorous, like doing sprints in pads, like in the summer heat, and then waking up at 6 a.m. to go work out and then practice all day. And then, you know, from 6 a.m. and get home at like 8 p.m. So that kind of prepared me for like the grind, the wear and tear on the body, and just like the mental aspect of it. Because in football, what I learned that really helped me was like, even when your body gives up, it's on your mind sometimes to kind of like keep going. Like you can go beyond what you think that your body is capable of. And once you keep doing that, then you'll notice like your limits expand. So you can even go farther than you thought, and then you keep going farther. And that's just like a way to like build your endurance up even more. And so I kind of took that with me coming into wrestling. The difference was, I don't know what it was, all that rolling around, doing all that stuff. Maybe I haven't been to the doctor in like a long time, but maybe I got some stomach thing going on because like in the beginning that would get me nauseous. I wouldn't be tired, but I would have like the need to like just something coming up, you know, like need to like throw up or something. And then I'd go right back to running. Like it wasn't fatigue, it wasn't tiredness. I don't know what it was. So that was the only thing I think that took a little bit to get used to. Like, so I know in the beginning you hit the ropes and like you get like, you know, the calluses and hit the bumps, but like I took to all that pretty well. Like the toughness aspect of it, but it was the rolling around and everything, like getting up and running. And then COVID happened shortly after, so we had to do all that in the mask. And then I would like inhale, and the mask would just like get all up in my mouth, and it would just make me even more nauseous. Sometimes my hair would get in it, and it was just that was like the worst. Like training with the mask during COVID was awful. But our trainer, bless him, Jeff Greeno, Ash Anarchy Aubrey, he was the best trainer that we could hope for. He genuinely loved his students, like, and wanted them to be successful even more than him. Like, he put his students before himself, which, I feel like he set the standard for, what I think a trainer should be. Like, I feel like trainers should be doing that. And I don't think that, I'm not obviously not going to name any names or anything, because I don't know, like, personally, like that. I don't think that, just, how people are, I don't think that a lot of trainers would do that for their kids, but he was someone that would just give his spot, to one of his students and, like, try to elevate them. And unfortunately, he did pass around a year. I think it's been over a year now. It feels like it hasn't even been that long. The time is like flying. It also, at the same time, feels like it's been forever. So that losing our trainer was like the hardest blow, because it was like losing a really good friend too, because like he built that connection with his students that like went beyond just wrestling. It went beyond training. He genuinely wanted us to be successful, and he would build us, dude. Like, from day one, he was like, yo, like, I see it in you, man. Like, you, like, if you just come to training, like, you could go play. And he would build that confidence in you, which is something that a lot of people, like, just don't have naturally. So to have a trainer that not only builds upon the things that you're lacking in ring, and also builds upon your character and your confidence, like, that is special. And he was just like an amazing trainer. I try to take the things he taught me, from the work ethic to the mental to everything, and I try to just always keep that with me. And I always remember him, and like, whatever I accomplish, like, I owe it to him. Like, seriously, like, I cannot thank Jeff enough, and I just hope that he's watching, and I hope that one day he's proud of, everything that we accomplish as his students.
That's awesome, man. God bless you. That's awesome. I love that. I do. You just gave me the dad chills that you went into that, and that's why I was not stopping you. So let's talk about your first match, though. Do you ever go back and watch it? Do you feel, and I'll use the word the kids use, do you ever feel cringe because you're like, oh man, what the hell was I doing?
First match, I don't remember exactly. Like, that's bad, right? Like, I don't, because I never.
It could
like,
be good or bad.
Like that. I never thought of it like, wow, my first match, like, I did it, like, my foot's in the door or anything like that. Me and my bro have, like, we aim for the freaking sky. So it was like, we had to start somewhere. And I never really thought of it like, this is it, I'm finally doing it or anything. So I feel like, yeah, a lot of times your first match is special. I never really thought of it like that, because in the beginning, a lot of what you get are like battle royals and scrambles and like multi-mans. So I couldn't even tell you what my first match was. And then, like, you get the singles, but a lot of the time it's like on birthday shows, or like, he was starting up a YouTube channel for training. So it's like stuff like that. Like, I don't even remember my first match in front of like an actual crowd. But yes, I do go back and watch my older style, and I'm like, oh, like, I cringe. So I'm like, yo, I'm so much better now. And then I know, like, in a year I'm gonna be like, yo, I'm so much better now. And I'm like, that's the goal. You want to keep getting better. like, if I look back and I'm like, wow, I was so much better back then I'm doing something very wrong. So
For sure,
I definitely cringe. Yeah.
for sure. Because I'm a dad, and you know that. What's mom and dad say when you say, "Hey, I'm getting into professional wrestling"?
Super supportive. They've been supportive with everything. Like, my mom, she just wants me to be happy and successful. If it was up to her, I would be a doctor or professor. But
Oh well, yeah.
none of those fields, they just didn't interest me. Like, I want to be active, and wrestling was just like, it was my first love that it took a while for me to like come to terms with, like, okay, this is what I want to do. So when I told them, yeah, they were super confident. Essentially in the beginning they were like, just like a little hobby, like, like how I did baseball and all that. They were like, just like a little, extra thing to do. And still they want me to have like backup plans and all that, which is why I still do want to get like a college degree or something. Just not really to fall back on, because I am like 100% all in on it, but just it's something that I want to do, just to get a degree, just to get it. And for them, it's a win-win, because for my mom, like, she's like, get it to fall back on. So even if it's not necessarily for that reason, it's still there. So, there's not really much for them to stress out about in that world.
Yeah, I get it. All right, this is where I'm going to ask you who the Shadow Assassin Lunik is, but I'll pause because I want to give you my 3 wrestlers that I think that I see in you, okay?
Okay, wow, okay.
All right, first one, Bandito, because you can fly and you're still technical, okay?
Okay.
Second one, you are the power of the tag team. So Jim the Anvil Neidhart also got the body kind of like Anvil. I see that.
I've heard that before.
Yeah, see, I'm getting good at this comparison thing. I am. In the third one is Gangrel, and you're gonna be like, what? It's because you're still mysterious. I still don't know. Go back to the very first thing we said on the podcast. I'm joking about that, but you got this Shadow Assassin, and I didn't know how to get it out there. But Gangrel's very mysterious. Yes, he's a vampire. But that whole aura of him, you could throw the Undertaker in as well, or you could have said Bray. But I thought Gangrel fit you a little bit better. So how close am I, and what do you think of that?
I would have never thought of that, but now that you mentioned it, 100% I see it. I see all 3. I would have to look into more on the first guy you mentioned,
Bandito. Yeah.
But based off the style and just the aesthetic, I can see where you were going with that. And then the next 2, absolutely. I've heard about Jim before, but never Gangrel. But now that you mentioned it, I can definitely see just the aura and atmospheric tone that I attempt to set could be compared to his. Absolutely.
Nice.
He did that so well, though. That vampire gimmick was
pretty unbelievable.
Awesome.
Listen, he's still doing it on indies every once in a while, and I still pop when I see him. I'm like, God, this is so awesome.
Yeah, it's like and his theme song. Don't even get me started on that creepy ass theme song coming out with the blood. I love it. And I love that aesthetic too, like Bray Wyatt and Taker. Like I like supernatural, spooky in wrestling, which I'm sure you picked up on a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. If you had to pick 3, though, I'll turn the question right around to you now. Who, going into me not saying this to you, who were your 3 essentially then?
Who do I want to be like, or who do I think that I'm like?
Listen, wrestling beg, borrows, and steals from everybody, right? Who have you begged, borrowed, and stolen from, essentially?
It's gonna sound weird because I think Batista, and he's not like one of my favorites or anything, but like I don't know why, because the spine buster is one of my like main moves. I do like his whole moveset, like just move based off a moveset alone, like spear, spine buster, clothesline, power. I feel like a lot of big guys do it,
right?
But, I don't know what it like. I feel like he did a lot of those moves, and I kind of just I was like, yo, that looks cool when he does it. I feel like I took a lot of his moveset, and then I'm trying to incorporate more Crispin. Like in my more recent matches, I've done more chops, Germans, and crossfaces. That's something I'm definitely trying to incorporate more into. I do a lot of Germans, and that is really highly based off him. Picking only 3 is hard because I steal from like everyone. I'm very like
everybody does. That's why it's hard to pinpoint 3. It really is.
Yeah, I think maybe Edge for the last one, just for sometimes like I don't do it every match, but like when the feeling's there, when the emotion's there, I feel like I get like really into it. Like, you know how Edge, like with his like head movements and body movements and his intensity, I feel like I can bring that out on occasions, like, when the match calls for it. And that's who I like inside of me. I seek for inspiration. I'm like, Edge usually gets like this hype, like, I can get this hype, stuff like that.
If you can turn Metalingus on in your head all the time, that gets everybody hype all the time, though, right?
Absolutely, man. That's one of the best theme songs of all time. I even like his like older theme songs. Like everything about him. He's awesome. Coolest wrestler probably.
Okay, so let's do some nerd stuff and incorporating that. Let's do nerd stuff first. We'll take a little bit of break from wrestling. day off. You're not wrestling. You're not watching wrestling. You're really taking a break from wrestling. What do you get into? Yeah, see, this is where we get to learn about the independent professional wrestlers, and that's what I love about this. So go ahead. You're going to tell me something weird.
Dude, honestly, I'll watch wrestling on my free time just for fun. So, like, other than that, I can't even watch it.
Well, if you're watching it for fun, it's okay, and that's great that you still can watch it for fun. Yeah, what are your other things?
Okay. Well, I can absolutely watch it for fun. I'm looking very forward to WrestleMania. But anyways, I like Marvel movies. Definitely a nerd when it comes to that stuff. You know, I was watching the new Doctor Strange movie the other day. I didn't get to finish it, but you know, just huge on like all. I'm kind of upset about like the Avengers, like the direction that we're going with the MCU. I feel like a lot of my favorites just aren't getting as much screen time. Like my guy Thor, definitely my favorite Avenger. Probably, I don't know when his next movie's coming out, but he's definitely getting less screen time. I haven't seen Guardians 3 yet, but I heard maybe that was the last one, which kind of sucks. Love the Guardians. Yeah. I can't wait to watch number 3, but like I hate closure, you know. I hate like I know I'm gonna watch it and then that's it, no more Guardians. So like I always hold off on it. So like, you know what I mean? Like
I get it.
I hear they're doing a couple different Spider-Mans, so like I'm really looking forward to that. I heard something about Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man coming, or Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man coming back, and I think Andrew's probably my favorite Spider-Man. So you know I love Tom Holland too. Batman's my favorite superhero. They had like that's not Marvel obviously, but they had an awesome movie. What was it, like last year with the new Batman movie that came out?
Yeah, maybe even a year and a half ago, but yeah, we digress. Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm huge on like that, the whole superhero stuff, and like I don't watch as much sports as I used to because when I was more active in it, I would watch them more. You know, my era was always like the Yankees with Mark Teixeira, Alex Rodriguez was my guy. You know, Derek Jeter, Robinson Cano. I can name you that whole lineup, like from that era. But I haven't been too big on that since. I like a lot of anime. You know, I'm super nerdy when it comes to that type of stuff.
Video games at all?
Yes.
Oh wow, that was a definite yes.
Oh, 100,000%. Like I don't know why. Video games are probably even bigger than the other two things that I mentioned. So I got Final Fantasy booted up as like just background music right now. I was playing Tales of Arise, one of my favorite games. I like the JRPG genre, but I like The Witcher 3 is my favorite game. Like I like all sorts of them. Like, what about you? What's your video game favorites?
My video game favorites are the sports games. Like I'm waiting for July when NCAA football comes out. Then I'm legit taking a week off of work for a video game. People laugh at me.
I don't blame you, man. But, no, I don't. I would do the same thing, dude.
Sports. I have a hunting game. I have tried to get into. Listen, I'll throw this out there. We're all friends. Shelby and Nathaniel, Annie, the Donnie Bambino, want to get me into Fortnite, and it is just too fast for me. Listen, I throw this out there and I throw myself under the bus all the time. I'm 47. I want to play video games to relax. I downloaded Fortnite for about 5 minutes, Lunik. Got on thinking, hey, I'm going to play a little bit before these three just pummel me. I turned it on, and before I could walk off of whatever thing I was on, there was... Screw it. Fucking kids just blowing me up. Yeah. Anxiety just setting in. I'm like, how is this fun?
So they play no build because the build kids are crazy. They like you shoot one bullet and they got a whole house built, and I don't even know how to do that. You play no build. You know, they don't build walls, just guns. That's the best way to do it.
I just can't. It's just it's got to be, listen, come home from work, pop open a beer, and just relax playing whatever. When I really have a bad day, not that I'm a hunter in real life, not that there's anything wrong with that. Yeah. I play Hunter Call of the Wild. I will just sit in my recliner and just roam around looking for deer and stuff. To like, I need to simmer down a little bit today. It's calm. It's calm games. It's calm games is what I play.
Have you tried Red Dead 2?
I have a while ago, and I didn't put it on the 5 yet. I think I want to put it on the 5 and bring it back alive. So
I've been playing it on the 5, and it's an experience. That's a really good game.
okay, I'll wrap back around. All right,
It's slower pace, but it's probably not as slow as like the hunting.
Oh, no, nothing's as slow as the honey. The honey, you can walk up and pet a deer and then blow its head off. Yeah, clearly it's nothing. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, I'm also big on sports games too, man. Like I have over 2,000 hours in WWE 2K19. I just wanted to throw that out.
Did you get the newest one, by the way?
No, because I have my universe mode in 19 where I have like 12 years worth of like stuff, and I write it in my notes, like who's been champion, my cards, right? My pay-per-view cards. I have my pay-per-view cards for like 11 years from my universe mode in 19. How can I throw that all out?
You can't.
When the new, like I can't. Dolph Ziggler's like an 8-time world champ for me, man. I can't like wipe those stats. Like he's main evented multiple WrestleManias for me. I can't take that away from my boy Dolph Ziggy.
That is amazing. You are so into it. I love it.
Dude, I'll show you my notes, bro. 2,000 hours, bro. It's a lot. And I just leave it on. So maybe that contributes to the hours. Maybe it's not exactly 2,000. But if I show you my notes, you'll see what I mean.
If you're taking notes and everything, for sure you got 2,000 hours into it. Yeah.
Possibly. Yeah, probably.
I'll tell you, though, this new one, I do love it. I'm through the whole 40 years of WrestleMania. I played that. I will probably take a month off and go back and replay it and do some of the things that I didn't do during the matches. But this weekend, I didn't do a damn thing but play it again. I played the My Rise with it.
There you go.
The girl story in the My Rise is so good. Like 14 straight hours on Saturday. My family left me. Because they both had to go to work or do whatever. I'm like, well, it's me and the dogs. Played the whole freaking My Rise in one day. Unbelievable.
That's the best, man. That is the best. I need a game that I can just stick. But like, I don't want to get rid of my universe.
Well, just buy it. Just buy it. Don't get rid of your universe.
That's true. But like, so I heard that. So I was big on GM mode in like 06. Especially 06. Like 07 and 08 had it, but GM mode in 06 was just perfect because you didn't have to do the thing with the rivalries.
Right.
Where you had to like, you know exactly
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, in 06, you just put them in a one-on-one, bam, rivalry mate. And then the next games, you got to like, no, the rivalry can only be like this amount, and you have to manually input. Like,
I hate that.
Keep it simple, 06 was the best GM mode. And then I heard it's only like 1 year now or something.
It is. My friend is a huge GM fan as well. I have lost taste for the GM mode because of all of that. He did tell me, he's like, he went through the GM mode in a few hours. Just power throwing. You're like, dude, you can only get like a year out of it. I'm like, oh.
Once they fix that, what is it, like 3 matches or something now?
Yeah.
Bring it back to the 06 type. They're not going to listen to this, but
yes, they will. What are you talking about?
Well, maybe if you had a bigger star on, not because of your podcast, but it's because of me. I don't think they're going to listen to me random. if for some reason they do, bring back the 06 GM mode. That's what we want.
All right, let's get into some random, stupid, silly, maybe serious questions, okay?
Okay, yeah.
Usually nothing to do with wrestling. What is reoccurring nightmare? Like, what is it, something that continues to reoccur in your nightmares?
I'm going to sound like a tool, but I feel like I'm a little bit in control of my dreams at this point. Like, I don't really have, like, it's weird. Like, I try not to be scared of things, especially because where I had to grow up, I couldn't really be scared. If I was scared, it would just make the situation worse. And then being a big superhero and anime geek that I am, and just a fan of like all these like super natural things, super realistic things, like unrealistic, I should say. Super realistic probably isn't the word. I like, I don't know, man. It's weird. I feel like when I don't really get scared as often anymore. When I do, I try to turn that into some sort of anger. So even say I'm having a nightmare, right? And it's some like random big monster, or like even the scarier ones are the psychological ones, right? Where for me, something creepy, I guess this kind of answers your question. Is looking in the mirrors in my dreams gives me like weird things looking back at me. And like when you think that the dream is real, everything's going normal, and then all of a sudden you look in a mirror and then it's like some deranged face looking back at you. It's almost like, what the hell? But then that was something that I used to deal with as a kid. Always looking in mirrors in my dreams would like give me like these weird apparitions looking back at me. And as a child, I used to be scared of mirrors because of that. And then growing up, I would do some weird shit. Like I would turn off the lights and force myself to look in the mirror and be like, yo, anything that's even in there, like I will beat the shit out of it. Like if there is a monster or whatever, he's not going to do nothing to me, because if he can, then I'll die, right? And then I'm dead, right? And there's nothing. But if I'm alive, I'm just going to fight. So it's like, what do I really have to be scared of? And so now, I'm sorry, I know I like rambled for the question.
No, I love this. You keep going.
I try fighting them, you know what I mean? Like if it's something scary, like I'll try fighting it. The worst are like just when random people try stabbing me, but even then, like I'll try fighting them. Like I'll try fighting back in my dreams all the time. So it's like I don't really have those nightmares anymore. I have like they'll start off as nightmares, turn into like these freaking battles that you see in Marvel movies, like where I'll like super jump and I'll be like, no, like it's something in me, right? If you push me far enough to like actually get me scared, something inside of me will just go, no, don't be scared, fight back. And then I'll just fight back. And it's weird. I know it makes me sound like a tool. I probably am scared of things, but I haven't felt that emotion in a while. Like I probably need to be reminded what fear feels like before I do something stupid,
I'm not laughing at you. This wasn't even part of the interview, but what does your bed look like in the morning if you're having epic battles every night, by the way?
Oh, dude, I'm not. No, that's my brother. All right. Me, I can sleep in one place too. My brother, when I tell you, he like straight up will throw fists in his sleep. He'll kick, like he'll literally start throwing kicks. Dude, we do this joke with him where like we'll go to pin him right in his sleep, and this dude will kick out in his sleep. He will kick out, and I'm like, yo, what?
It's true passion for professional wrestling, is what it is.
Yeah, yeah, he's got that. He's got that fire in him. Like I can sleep, just normal. Like I have all this shit going on in my brain. The worst that'll happen is like I'll feel like I'm falling or something, like jolts awake, but I'm not like moving around. This little dude is like throwing kicks, throwing punches, kicking out. I'm like, dude's having whole matches in his dreams, bro. It's the weirdest thing.
Okay, from controlling your dreams to that, let's move on to the next question. I know you're nerdy, and we talked about that. So you can only keep 3 apps on your phone. What 3 apps are you keeping?
Let me check. 3 apps. Wow. Okay. Pokemon Go.
Oh my God. Okay.
That was my first one. The first one. So like, does the weather app count?
No, because that's built into the phone. You can't take that off.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, because I would have said like Pokemon Go, the weather app, and my phone, like the one you make phone calls with.
Well, that's your phone.
All right, so now, okay, so probably YouTube, because you gotta have YouTube.
Yeah.
And Spotify, definitely.
Okay, those are good. Yeah, the weather app is your phone essentially. In your phone, you have to keep it. You wouldn't have a phone if you didn't have the phone app.
It's got that icon, like the.
I get it.
It makes it look like it's an app, but it's not. Hey, what about you? You answer that one.
My 3 apps? It definitely has to be an editing app, because editing on the road and everything, whatever one I am using at the time and, whenever. YouTube as well, because I could get by on trips with YouTube, because you could also have music off of YouTube. So as much as I love Spotify, I would probably kick that to the curb. And just for family, because my family's old and they're not on any other apps, I have to keep Facebook. That's sometimes with spread all over. I have to keep Facebook. So yeah.
I was thinking about that too. Spotify won it over just because I can connect it to my PlayStation and just bump music while playing whatever game. So
yeah. All right, your next question is from a past guest. Here it is.
Hi, this is Nathaniel Cunningham, one half of the Bad Fellas, and my question for you today is, if Barney, Elmo, and Big Bird were in the same room, who would me and Donnie take out to dinner first?
Barney, Elmo, or Big Bird? I feel like Big Bird would eat a lot, and same thing with Barney. I feel like, but they don't mind spending money. Those guys, they will show off their money. So, but on food, they'd rather spend their money on clothes, I feel like. And Donnie's got, I think he's got that Elmo personality going on. I don't know how to explain that, but I think he and Elmo would be very, very good friends. I think Elmo. I think they would take Elmo out for sure.
Yeah, I that's instantly where my head went to when
100%.
he asked questions. Yeah, without a doubt. All right, last silly question before we get into some of the harder hitting ones on professional wrestling, because we dabbled around this long enough. What superpower do you wish you had?
It's going to be completely like, a wrestler would probably say super strength, super speed or something, but like, and it's not even like the most useful, like controlling time or like becoming like invisible or anything, but I would control fire. I don't know why. I've just always been drawn to fire, and I feel like the potential for fire is limitless. Like, maybe I can break time with my flames, right? Like that probably hasn't been studied, but maybe, right? Maybe someone that can stop time. Maybe I can engulf myself in like a time-resistant flame shield or something. I feel like fire, if used properly with the right will, and if it burns bright enough and it burns hot enough, a good fire can beat everything thrown in this way.
What if I have water?
If my fire burns hot, I could evaporate it. Your water.
Yep. Just stir in the pot. I agree.
Throw a bucket of water onto the sun, it's not going to do anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. I've always dabbled with that question because I don't know. I'm content. Again, I don't need to be fast. I don't need to be strong.
You work for that stuff, yeah.
Yeah, you can work for that. Being able to transport yourself, dude. Sometimes the journey is half the battle.
That's the reward. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't want that.
Absolutely.
Invisibility, a lot of creeps pick that one. I don't want to be associated with that whatsoever.
Yeah. I meant more so like going through objects and stuff too, like so no one can hit you, but...
Yeah. So I don't know. Mine would be some dad moment one or something, but... All right.
It's fascinating how people like approach that question too. Like a lot of people would be like, what's useful in life, and the way I do it is like, how can I beat everyone?
Right. Yeah, I want to destroy the world.
It's my anime mind, bro. Like that's that anime main characters. What I mean.
This is the toughest question I'll ask, and I know some wrestlers have come on and they're like, oh, I don't know if I want to answer that. So what would you change about professional wrestling? Because there's stigmas around it, there's dirt balls around it, there's this, there's that. What's your number one concern about wrestling, essentially?
I'm actually glad you asked this, and it would be the same answer to I was prepared for you to ask what do I want to accomplish in wrestling,
But that's coming up though too. But yeah.
Okay, so it's like the same answer then. Almost like a 2-in-1 deal here. Because what I want to change and what I want to accomplish is almost the same thing, because I want wrestling to be for everybody. I want people that don't have anything, because sometimes, your friends aren't going to be there. You're going to be like, you're not going to have a partner with you. You're going to be all alone. And as a person, a lot of people go through periods of time where they have nothing, they have no one, and they're all by themselves. So I want wrestling to be something that is accessible for everyone and relatable for everyone. But to do that, it also needs to be cool. And I feel like we are losing a lot of viewership, a lot of like potential fans, because it's a couple of the same tropes that are done repeatedly. And of course, you shouldn't be afraid to be cringe and all that stuff, but we need to try to make it more not like mainstream-ish, but maybe like just more cool. Like what what can the kids excuse me, what can the kids these days coming up and they point at wrestling? Like, cause when we were growing up, it was cool. Like Stone Cold was cool,
Yep.
DX. It was like they were cool. The Undertaker was cool. The Rock, all that. Triple H, even like these guys were cool people that you wanted to imitate. You wanted to like be like them. And you wanted your friends to know about, like, you wanted to show your friends, like, hey, check out how cool this thing is. Like, I want wrestling to, and it sounds like weird saying it, but like to almost now, because I think it's cool, like, but I want,
of course we do,
it to be accessible. Yeah, I want everyone to be able to relate with it and to be able to enjoy it, and not like, I feel like there's a lot of stigma now that people are almost like ashamed to be wrestling fans. And I hate that. I want, people to be open about it, like, and to introduce other people, and then like for it to be so open-minded and it to be accepting. I feel like nowadays wrestling is very, if you're in, you're in. And the ones that are in, they think that they're better or something. They think that they know more. And it's like, as fans, maybe we should just watch and enjoy the product. Maybe we should just, enjoy what we have. Of course, let your voices be heard and your opinions and all that, but like we don't have to resort to like anger and being bitter or like upset if something doesn't turn out the way we want. Because if everything is going the way you want it to go, the way you expect it to go, then that takes that unexpected, surprising element out of it. And it's like so many adding parts to make it exciting and to make it cool again. But like, essentially that is my overarching goal, is to make the wrestling industry something that, and it's the global reach is huge. It's there. Like I've been to other countries and there is like a huge global reach for it, but I want that to be even bigger and for everyone to be like undoubtedly like to watch it and be like, yo, that was like really freaking cool. And I think we can get there. I think that it's possible. I think that with the right stories, with the right portrayals of characters, and just the right everything has to mesh. But I think that, I don't want it to necessarily go back to the Attitude Era, but I want the hype, the atmosphere, the feeling, of like this cool, exciting thing. I want that to be there again. So that is what I would change in wrestling, and that is ultimately what my goal is to try to do for wrestling. It's not like, become a star or whatever myself. It's to make wrestling like approachable for everyone and make it exciting for everyone and inclusive for everyone and cool for everyone and something like that.
I love that wholeheartedly. Not doing a self-promotion off of what you're just laying your heart on the line for. That's our MO. That's our mission statement, essentially, for New Era. That's why you're in it, essentially, right?
Absolutely.
That's exactly why.
I love it.
Yeah. It really is. That's deep. It really is deep, and I love that you said that. All right. What's the best advice that you've gotten behind the curtain?
I've gotten a lot of good advice. A lot of advice is also, it's like you gotta not pick and choose, but you gotta like,
you have to sift through it.
Yeah, absolutely. So, man, this is gonna sound so weird. Father Derek told me this sounds so basic and something you should know, but like for your gear, right? What you wear under it, try to make it match with the color of your gear, so it doesn't like say. I remember once I was wrestling in like some gray sweatband. I had like red boxers on underneath, and it's like hella standing out. So it's like, it's a very minor thing, but that was like advice I took. I was like, oh my god, why didn't I think of that? Like, just whatever you're wearing under your gear, if it's as close to the same color as your gear, it's better. I know it's like a very small thing.
Yeah, but those are things that are forgotten.
Exactly. Yeah, it's like like everyone will keep reiterating like those big points, but like these little things that no one will tell you. It's like, well, these are things that I gotta know. Yeah. Sometimes you don't figure it out on your own. So it's definitely cool to always be open. Take advice from everyone for sure.
Yeah. So we know you watch the current product. How far back do you go? Like, I know you said, your family's been in it. Do you go back into the 80s and 90s, even farther and watch some stuff?
Me personally, I like the newer gen stuff better. So I'm not, digging up old tapes. But my mom does, when she was watching, when her dad would watch, she like remembers Andre the Giant somehow. Bret Hart was like her favorite. So it goes back to I guess Andre, and then maybe I think later on was Bret Hart's era a little bit. For me personally, it was that the beginning of the ruthless aggression era. I think I missed the attitude era, but
Yeah, by a little
I've
bit,
seen
yeah.
everything about it. I've seen all of the attitude era pretty much, though.
What is your all-time favorite storyline?
It was Chris Benoit winning that heavyweight title on WrestleMania 20. My all-time favorite match as well.
That's what I figured. What is these are rapid fire now. What's your favorite storyline right now?
I love Edge and Christian's thing, but honestly, what the Bloodline has going for them, it's magical. Something like that. I don't think we've seen a storyline like that in a long time. I think the Bloodline I think if all the wrestling was like that, then, maybe it would be cool.
Yeah.
But I think that is the best storyline right now, for sure.
No matter who says anything against it, you can love it, you can hate it. The Bloodline is and there's still so much meat and potatoes left on the bones now that The Rock's back.
Mm-hmm. There's so much more you could like, even if he drops the belt, there's so many more stories you could tell now, because they don't need the belt for The Rock and Roman. Like,
no, hopefully that happens in Cleveland at SummerSlam, by the way, which I'm going to. But yes.
Oh, okay. There you go. Hopefully, man. I think that they're probably going to hold off probably for next Mania, but like that's a whole year away. Like, I'd want to see that on SummerSlam.
Yeah. What's your Mount Rushmore then?
That's tough. I think I got to put my boy The Undertaker up there. I got to put Shawn Michaels. I can only speak for my era, because right. I want to say Ric Flair, but I'm not as, I haven't seen as much of him. I'm sure there's different Mount Rushmores for each era. I'm sure Ric Flair would be on that. It's just, I can only speak on like what I've, my personal experience seeing. So Michaels, Taker, for me, like Triple H, I got to be honest, and probably put John Cena up there as well.
That's a hell of a Mount Rushmore.
For just this era. I feel like each era has a song, because then you got, Hogan, Stone Cold, Rock, and all them. So this is just, for me growing up personally, those four were like the top guys that I watched.
Isn't that the greatest debate? Because I'll give you mine: Savage, Flair, Hogan, and probably Dusty Rhodes.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, it's so cool that, everybody's Mount Rushmore. It's not just one, because it's cool how in baseball, I don't even want to say baseball, because everybody's saying, well, it's changed even through the eras. You say like Babe Ruth, you say, Pete Rose, and I'm throwing drugs and everything out the window. Babe Ruth, Pete Rose, Barry Bonds, Greg Maddux, Roger Clemens, like everybody names those people. Yeah. I don't have, nothing against yours. I don't have HBK. I don't have Triple H. I don't have, Cena's always lingering, but he's like number 5. It's just so awesome how wrestling is opinionated plus just fun. It's wrestling, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to hit everyone differently. Everyone's going to relate to it differently as well. So yeah, for sure.
What are you most proud of thus far in your career?
Honestly, nothing yet. I'm really just thankful for all the opportunities. I don't think I've accomplished shit. Like, I'm just getting started here. Yeah, I don't know. I would be remiss to say anything that like I'm actually proud of. I'm happy. I'm happy I get the chance to do this, and I'm grateful that I get to do it with so many like awesome people around me. So I think the train's just gonna keep rolling there, hopefully.
It is. Now, on the flip side, What are you most embarrassed of thus far?
Man, I went up top trying to be Rob Van Dam this one time, and like I've done it every time at training, and then I busted out in a match. You know how you just jump up on the top rope, and I completely like missed, like crushed myself, and that was pretty embarrassing. I also, that's one of them, and I think throwing up in one of my matches is up there too. I mean, the match was like a sprint, like we had the crowd in the palm of our hands, but towards the end there, I don't know what happened. It's just something in me, which I feel like if I get my cardio to be like above and beyond, hopefully we can control that. So that's always embarrassing, like when you mess up or, you know, when your body messes up or something like that.
Did you just, and I don't know this, did you just like stick your head out the corner and just blah? Or did it come like in the middle of the ring?
If I did that, it would have got on like people. So I picked a corner of the ring. I wiped it down and cleaned it myself after.
Right. Yeah.
It was only a studio taping. It wasn't like in front of a live crowd or anything.
Okay.
But it was still pretty embarrassing that it would happen in the studio.
Goals for 2024, the remainder part of the year. What are some goals that you want to knock off? Who are some people you'd like to wrestle? Yada yada yada.
Around this area, I was supposed to wrestle Andy Header a while back, and that didn't happen. So I definitely would love to wrestle him. He's someone that around this area is definitely taken off. And then I like maybe get some belts. I mean, they don't really, like, it's not like the end all be all, but like, I feel like, you know, I want wrestling to mean more, and I feel like having a prop or something could help me elevate that while also elevating myself. I guess mostly just wrestling more. That's like the big thing, and in front of more people, and maybe in some bigger spots where I can make more of an impact. You know, and hopefully get in better shape too.
Is travel in the picture? Maybe knock off a couple states, and in time, would you like to go overseas or up to Canada, down to Mexico, or anything like that?
Yeah, hell yeah, I'd love to go to like UK or something too, like perform anywhere. Really, Japan is like a big goal for mine. I don't know if that could happen in the next year, but wrestling for Japan is something that it's for both me and my bro both. It's something that we're trying to make happen, trying to do actively. So definitely wrestling in Japan is like a huge goal for me.
Yeah, Rome wasn't built in a day. I mean, I wasn't saying that for this year or anything, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if it happens in the next year, that would be amazing. But
I'm coming. I'm coming with you.
Yeah, come on over, bro. You going to Tokyo, Kyoto, all that.
Let's go. All right. Favorite question here, and then I'll give you your spot to give everybody your socials and kind of promote some of the shows you're going to be at. Your dream match, okay? It could be anybody ever, but I put caveats on this. I want to know where and what stipulation as well.
Facing Edge at the main event of WrestleMania for the WWE title, maybe. That would be my utmost ultimate dream match.
I will have to throw in that it's got to be a TLC match in between you two.
TLC? Okay. Well, can it be Extreme Rules? Like, why limited to just those three?
No, it can be Extreme Rules. That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was my other one. I almost said Extreme Rules match too. So it's crazy.
Are you ever okay for being in a death match?
Yeah. Right circumstances.
Yeah. Okay.
I wouldn't just randomly do it, but right circumstances, yeah.
Right.
I'm open to it.
Right. All right, this is your time. Give everybody your socials. Do you have any merch that people can reach out, 8x10s, yada, 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 like that? And where are you going to be here in the near future?
All right, I'm still working on merch. I wanted to build my brand up a bit more before we finally do drop that, but I got some projects up in store for that. I finally got some new gear, so excited to debut that. You guys can catch me on Instagram at Shadow Lunic. I'm on Facebook, Lunic. And I'm TikTok, Sipping Trees. That one's a little different, but you got to build your brand somehow. I got to get on Twitter. I've been meaning to. It's just Twitter's tough.
Twitter is, I'll tell you right now, never do Threads. Threads has turned into a cesspool.
Threads.
Yeah.
Okay. I feel like Twitter attracts all sorts of people.
To say the least. To say the least.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But you can catch me this weekend, actually, on 3WA, competing probably for the tag belts. I'm not really entirely sure about it. I'm pretty confident it's for the tag belts against your best friends.
Yeah.
So you might take those belts from them. You know, you never know. Definitely coming. We're going to come strike hard. So you better tell your boys to be ready. Get some ice for their jaws or something. But they're going to go through a battle. That'll be at 3WA. You can catch me on High Grounds at May 4th. That's not for a while, though. We got some April shows, but I think April 13th, another 3WA show. Of course, we got Excite and Smash Master going on. Smash will be there in May. That's for Excite. I have to just check the dates for a lot of these things. Yeah, a couple different things going on. And
you are pretty solid on posting everything on your Facebook.
Yeah, I try to get everything out there for sure. Yeah, I think that pretty much covers it.
Yeah, I think it does. Is there anything that I forgot to ask you that you wanted to bring up during this interview at all?
No, thanks for letting me ramble. I didn't think I was going to do that, but then you had some good questions that got me going. So thanks for giving me the time to do that.
What's going on, guys? This is MIT, the smartest man in the game. Remember, I hate Can Crushers podcast, and if you're smart, you'd pick a better one.
So for about a year, everything that we talked about at the beginning of the podcast, how I thought he hated me, what the hell is this guy doing? It was all just in my head. Hello, anxiety. My name is Mark. This guy it was just Lunik getting into wrestling mode, match mode, essentially. I really thought we had a problem. I really did. I thought we were being cordial, and then, boom, he was going to blow up, and I'm like, man, I didn't do anything to you. I don't know. Yep. That's what you call anxiety. Setting in early and often. Nonetheless, guys, what about Lunik? Unbelievable. Awesome. I really love that huge supportive family, always into wrestling. Listen, we haven't had a wrestling family in a while. It's been, my family didn't mind it. This is my family loved that I'm in professional wrestling. This was awesome. I love that. I really do. I love moments like this. And how about Mark, by the way? Time to toot my own horn. He loved the comparisons. Bandito, Jim Neidhart, and Gangrel. I think he really liked the Gangrel one a lot because the whole mysterious, that aura around him. Guys, after we've, buried the hatchet? Yeah. After we buried the hatchet, I've always been a huge supporter of Lunik. I've really loved him. But guys, I think you should now too. You should really just go out and follow him. If you're going to follow him anywhere, you should definitely follow him. April 20th, New Era Professional Wrestling. Yeah. Poconos. That's going to be pretty awesome. It's going to be an amazing card. He's in a tag team match. We have a lot of cool stuff. Nunzio is going to be there. Make sure you get your tickets. Check out New Era Pro Wrestling. Make sure you follow Lunik for all his crazy adventures. And thanks for listening to Can Crushers. Remember, just because you're trash doesn't mean you can't do great things. It's called a garbage can, not a garbage cannot. Make sure you tell your loved ones you love them, because you never know.